Now it's me again. Sorry, I'm a bit cold again. Still haven't relieved of that. But as I started with slavery issues, I wanted to say about a couple of things about communism. And as you think YouTube is like mostly American, because you guys were the first ones and you're kind of the most active internet users ever. So, as I know, in the United States, communism has always been blamed for being a demonic political system. It was hated and always thrown aside and stuff. But the thing is, when we come to the 1910s, 1915, 1917 in Russia, we should see that communism actually had a point. Because, as I know from the history of Russia, the communists had a very good point, because they promised the people who worked the land and who worked in the plants, this public property issue, that's actually bullshit. They promised to give the plants to the workers, the land to the peasants, the shit to the shit eaters. It was an ideological shit, because property is very complicated. But they had one point, and that was they actually did create social responsibility. No matter how, no matter when. But in 1910s in Russia, when actually the industrial age began on a large scale, the issue was that those who owned plants thought that social responsibility was a stupid thing to do. When some guy came from Cambridge and joined an assembly of Russian industrial tycoons, and he said, I'd like to introduce a 9-hour working day and a higher minimum sales because I want my workers to have a better life, he was laughed at. Because the rules were 14 hours working day, hire as cheap people as you can, hire children and women, make them fucking work 16 hours a day for the minimum salary, no matter that they live in shit, no matter they have no money, no medical assistance, no matter they die young and they have crippled bodies because of the tough work. That was the issue. And most importantly, it was so not just in Russia, it was also so in Europe and some partly in the United States too, because the early capitalism was violent. It was like, you won't fucking work, you get it, you go and break your fucking back. It was so for many people. I know America had more opportunities, but in such countries like Europe, or maybe Eastern European countries in particular, maybe a bit earlier industrial Britain and industrial Germany, they were quite oppressive for the working people. So the very important thing the communists did was that after they came to power and sorted things out a bit, they actually did this. They introduced an 8-hour working day. They introduced weekends. They introduced social medical care. They introduced parental care. They freed women from work. They created child care breaks for women. And every single thing. The early Soviet state was very advanced in that term. And the thing that they were quite stupidly actually proclaiming a world revolution did a lot for you. You know why? Because the governments in the 1920s were afraid of the Soviet expansion, or the ideological expansion of communism. And what they said was, what the communists said was, you guys are having bad lives. Your government have just failed you. They sent you to a fucking World War I, which was absolutely disgusting. It sucked the blood out of nations. Workers had poor conditions. They still worked long hours. They still got little salaries. In many countries, the conditions were dire. The communists were saying, hello guys, nationalize this shit. Make yourselves good working conditions. And it's an early industrial age. Some 30 to 50% of the population are actually workers, or peasants, and peasants. In some countries more. So that was a huge force. And the governments were afraid of this message. So what they did was they established social responsibility. They started pressuring the industrial machine, pressuring the owners to cut down working hours, to increase salaries, to do whatever was possible. And so guys, in certain respect, you have to be thankful to communism for having scared the shit out of your government so that they now provide you a better living. Thank you.